The transfer portal's at it again, folks. 2 days in a row, but this time we're talking about how it applies to the Auburn basketball program. We're going to talk about the player that has decided to go off to greener pastures and what it means for him, but also the program. First, I want to welcome you back to the channel, whether you're an Auburn fan or a fan of another persuasion. This is the E2C Network, where the Auburn family speaks. Our content here tends to be a little bit Auburn sports heavy, but if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our content, and thank you to members of our booster club like Chris Smith, who help produce videos like this. I know, Auburn fans, you hate the transfer portal right now. I get it. It's an ebbs and flows. It's going to happen a lot the rest of the college athletics lifetime because we're dealing with this now. So for right now, it's not so great, but in a few weeks, months, days maybe even, you might be celebrating the transfer portal. But for now, let's talk about something that just happened recently with the basketball program and Devan Cambridge, a Auburn guard for the basketball team, deciding to put his name into the transfer portal in a little bit of a surprising fashion. Not necessarily that he couldn't have that as an option, but just in terms of timing and what his overall decision process may be on the surface might have been surprising. When you look at it though, as we're going to go through on this video, I think you're going to see it makes a lot of sense for him, but also for the program's future, especially because we're waiting for a few other decisions, big ones out there as well. So Devan Cambridge announced on social media the other day that he had decided to put his name into the transfer portal. And I got to be honest, I'm really disappointed about this because I love Devan Cambridge. If you remember, he came in as a freshman, very highly regarded, and kind of burst onto the scene and seemed like he was going to be part of a recruiting class or just the turning of a page of a new point in the program, and he himself and those along with him like Alan Flanagan really did step up and provided that cornerstone to move forward away from that Final Four team where all that talent went off to do bigger and better things. Affectionately known as Bounce Man, whether by himself or the fans, he was known for his highlight dunks and just bringing down the house in Auburn Arena and on the road as well. Now, let's be honest, and I think Devan would also level with us here on this, his three-point shooting was streaky at best. And he's had some high moments with that, but there's probably been a few low moments with that, especially this season. Not his highlight, and so we get that. Those are some of the things. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has a part of their game that's not that great. However, some of the things that people forget about Devan Cambridge and what he brought to the table was how great of a defender he was, but also rebounding. People forget that while Auburn was struggling through the latter part of this season, rebounding, especially from Devan Cambridge, offensive rebounding, kept us in games at times. You can't take that away from him, especially as we've already brought up, his highlight reels that you can just go back and look for yourself, some of the awesome dunks that he has thrown down. So while I'm sad that he is leaving and not going to be part of this program and hopefully its future success, let's talk about why he potentially made this decision for himself and why it might be a great thing. The guard room this year started to get a little bit fuller. Not full, but a little bit more crowded. And I think that's going to probably be the case going forward, as we'll talk about in just a little bit. Devan started out as a starter this year until Alan Flanagan came in and was healthy enough to start earning back that starting time. Whether you agree with that or not is besides the point, but that's the facts of what it has. The coaches made that decision. There's obviously a reason behind that, so I'm going to trust them. His playing time and his starting time, obviously, started to get squeezed out more and more as the room of guards started to get a little bit more crowded. Well, that's going to continue going into next year as well. So you can see where he's stuck in this limbo situation of, I'm a kind of an unconventional guard. I'm a little bit bigger. I can play bigger. I've got a lot of athleticism to me. And there's going to probably be some of those other ones coming in. That situation might, we don't know, might start to get a little bit worse for him, especially for a guy who's going into his senior year. And while at this moment he may not have high chance for like NBA at this moment, there's still overseas and other professional basketball opportunities that he wants to set himself up for. And he's probably going to need a team that needs him more in that role going forward, especially to maximize his opportunities. So it really does make sense for him to look forward to his senior year having a better opportunity like that. So let's talk about what it means for Auburn now, the fact that Devan is leaving. To do that, it'll probably help us understand if we talk about the roster just a little bit. So if I've got my numbers correct, don't kill me if I'm wrong, but you usually get 13 scholarship spots. Right now, technically, those are full. Preston Cook, a guard, is going to be leaving. He's a senior graduating this year, so that's one spot open. You've also got two guards coming in as part of a recruiting class, Chance Westry and Trey Donaldson, that are going to be part of the team next year. So you still kind of need a spot open there. Well, with Devan Cambridge leaving, that opens up that spot. It's kind of a perfect scenario there because you're losing a smaller guard and a bigger guard, and you're getting a smaller guard and a bigger guard. I know we can debate sizes and all that kind of stuff, but it's relatively the same thing. So you can start to see the writing on the wall, obviously for the team, but for Devan and his position within the program at this point and what makes sense for him and also the team as well. Let's take it a step further to what actually might be coming to be a part of Auburn basketball's team in the future. Obviously, all this is speculation. Maybe even by the time you watch this, some of the things may have changed. We're all eagerly anticipating the decisions of Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler going into the draft. And let's be honest, we don't even know. There might be someone else that decides they want a better opportunity somewhere else as well. There was a lot of transition last year. Who's to say it won't happen again this year? That's the problem with coming a bigger and better program and players wanting to come here and wanting to be one and dones to go off to the NBA. We're expecting Jabari to go into the draft regardless and get drafted very high. Walker Kessler, kind of the same thing, probably, but there's probably a slight chance he might consider. But at this point, I'm assuming the two of them are going. So that means two other spots are opened up. At this point, it could be two big guys that were formerly committed to LSU that could replace the two big guys that we likely will be losing to the NBA draft. There's also a guard out there from South Carolina that Bruce is apparently talking to. Here's what I do know. Bruce has shown this throughout the entire time he's been here at Auburn, but especially this last year, that he knows how to maximize the transfer portal for the team's benefit. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and with Devan now leaving, it opens up obviously the opportunities for himself, but the team to continue to build on the progress that they have worked so hard to gain as of this point. In summary, I'm super disappointed that Devan Cambridge won't be part of our program, but I am excited for what he could do for himself, but for what this opens up for the possibility of Auburn moving forward. I think it's a good decision for both parties involved. So those are my overall thoughts. I want to know from you down in the comments section below. What do you think about this decision to leave and go somewhere else for Devan Cambridge? But also, what do you think is going to happen as a result of this? A lot of opportunities out there. Let's see what happens. If you enjoy this type of content, please do help support it by smashing that like button. If you want more from us, be sure to hit the subscribe along with the notification bell so you don't miss any of our uploads or live streams. There's ways that you can help support our content listed in the description, such as becoming a channel member here by hitting the join button for $1 a month, or heading over to patreon.com/E2C Network. Join the Booster Club for some extra perks. Thank you for tuning into the E2C Network, where the Auburn family speaks. War Eagle.